Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Take a few minutes with me today. I wanted to talk with you something about it's not a product, not a pitch, and not something most people are ever offered. It's one of those meaningful tools that I used for many, many years in the business, one that consistently deepened relationships, clarified planning, and created trust that lasted for years. So let me give you a little bit of background. 1987, long time ago. I was sponsored by an organization called PORAC, called the Peace Officers Research Association of California. And my work took me into police departments and sheriff's offices all over, primarily in the Northern California area. And we would speak at briefings, and then we'd sit down with officers and their spouses to review everything available to them through the municipality. We talked about deferred compensation plans, primarily 457 plans, which were totally different then than what they are now, but they definitely need to be talked about. Then we talked about their retirement benefits, their survivor benefits, and even the $255 Social Security death benefit, which we all laugh about today. But the most valuable thing we brought to those meetings wasn't the benefits themselves. It's a little thing that we call it was a benefits book. So later, my father and I took that same concept and redesigned it for church members. We worked in over 100 churches, helping families understand the importance of organizing their lives, not just financially, but practically. They were there were years where my father and I we wrote over 300 lives a year. And people sometimes ask me, well, why'd you stop doing the work? Well, the answer is simple. We've heard it so many times. It's one of those things that worked so well, we quit doing it. But here's where this becomes really powerful. We didn't hand people an organization and say, hey, fill this out and bring it back. We literally sat down with each person, went through it page by page. We would sit to them, explain to them why each section mattered, why emergency contacts matter, not just names, but context, why health information matters, especially in moments of stress, why medications and doctors, because decisions have to be made quickly. Why banking and investment information matters. Not balances, but access. And every time, without exception, when we reached the insurance section, something happened. As we walked through the life insurance pages, people would naturally ask, is this the right kind of policy? Is this enough coverage that will actually pay off our liabilities? What happens if something happens sooner than expected? Why do I have multiple policies and I'm not really sure what each one does? We never pushed those questions. They came organically because the organizer, it invited them. The same thing happened when we reviewed wills and trusts. People would ask, are these beneficiaries still correct? Does this line up with what we wanted when we set this up? What happens if this account passes outside the trust? And that led to some eye-opening discoveries. It was not uncommon that most people didn't have a will or a trust at all. And for the ones that did, what we found is at least 80% of those, they were not even funded correctly or they were not funded at all. Even more concerned, we actually come across trusts and wills that were not even signed and they thought they were in place. But even more concerning, beneficiary designations often did not coincide with the estate planning documents that were already in place. Now, this is important. This wasn't saying anything another professional did something wrong. It wasn't about blame. It was about a simple reality. So, why do reviews really matter? Why do, well, people get married, they get divorced, children are born, grandchildren arrive, parents pass away, accounts get opened, policies get replaced, trusts get drafted and then forgotten. None of that means bad planning. It just means planning that wasn't revisited. That's why annual reviews are so important, not to sell something new, but to make sure what already exists still works the way it intended. Back when we were doing this in police departments and churches, everything was paper. We would have booklets printed and assembled 1,000 at a time, boxes of them stapled, organized by hand. Once they were completed, that was it. If something changed, you crossed things out. You made notes in margin. You hoped that the right version was the one the family could find. Many times, a year or so later, people would call my office asking for a new one because they couldn't locate the original or the one that had to make so many changes they had to update. So today we have what's called the Safe Haven Organizer. It's a simple, fillable PDF. And that changes everything. It's easy to complete, easy to update annually, easy to revise as life changes, which it always does. So clients can update it during an annual review, securely email it to the people who need it, save it on a thumb drive, or store it digitally and simply let family members know where it is. One organized, living document. No confusion, no outdated versions, just clarity. That's what makes the Safe Haven Organizer different. It's not about transactions, it's about stewardship. When someone completes this organizer, they don't walk away thinking, what did I just buy? They walk away thinking, I just did something that's important for my family. And that changes the entire relationship. Here's the part that amazes me. After all these years in the business, by providing this service, something very few advisors do, we were flooded with referrals. Not because we asked, not because we incentivized, not because, but the real reason is because the people talked. They told their friends, they told their coworkers, they told their family members. At times, we had a hard time keeping up. I honestly don't remember when I ever bought a lead. Growth doesn't come from chasing people, it comes from serving people. It happens naturally when you slow things down and you help organize their lives. You show them they matter beyond their balance sheet. This organizer is not just a document, it's a conversation, it's a relationship builder. So my hope is that I hope that this has been helpful for you and that you can see how offering this type of service can deepen your relationships with your clients and your families, but not because you're selling something, because you're doing something that genuinely matters. Something, but because you're doing something like this is something they'll never forget about. So I just want to say thank you for being on the call with me today and have an amazing week.